What's up guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you are all safe and well. So I'm really excited today to be talking about legato pentatonics and specifically the minor pentatonic and how you can use it with legato and kind of use your pentatonic as 3-note per string shapes. I warn you now, the stretches are quite insane. I've actually been working on this for the last 4 months, so it's not something that can happen quickly, which is fine. Good things come to those who wait. I'm still not there, but your fingers, trust me, after a few weeks and months of practicing, will get used to these big stretches. Let me show you the lick that I played at the beginning. There is actually one lick just with different variations using the minor pentatonic, E minor pentatonic, and it sounded a little something like this. It sounds absolutely killer, and it's well worth the practice time and the patience in getting used to those big stretches. So let's dive right in. Okay, so before we get started with my approach to legato pentatonic playing, let's talk about the minor pentatonic very quickly. So it's made up of 5 notes. You have a root, a minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, and a minor 7th. So there's your 5 notes, and it's just repeated all over the fretboard. Hopefully you guys know your 5 minor pentatonic shapes over the fretboard. If you don't, make sure you refresh your memory and get recapped on that, because knowing them inside out will really help with your legato, especially for what you're doing today. But what I'm doing essentially is connecting all these shapes on different strings. Now, unlike the 3-note per string shapes, where there's only a 2-fret gap between any note, unless you're in harmonic minor, there's actually 3, like harmonic minor, quite often. So you'll notice when I played that lick, at the beginning we're all good, because the open string helped us out. But when we go to the next string, we have a massive gap with our pinky and second finger. Next up, let's quickly talk about legato. If you're not familiar with it, make sure you check out my full lesson up here that goes through everything. But let's quickly do a recap of it. So basically it involves lots of hammer-ons and pull-offs. There's not much picking going on with your right hand or your picking hand. It's all to do with your fretting hand. So lots of hammer-ons like this. And pull-offs. Okay, so let's talk about my approach to practicing legato pentatonics. So the way that I started was to practice on 1 string. This way you get used to all the interval jumps and you kind of get a feel for the scale. So what we're going to do is, this is an exercise that would sound like this. That's a great exercise to get used to all the interval jumps with the pentatonic scale. So let me go through that and show you all the fingering. It's very important that you use the fingering that I'm telling you, just so you can utilize this in the best possible way. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the open E, low E, as a kind of pedal note every time you change the next shape. So we're going to play each shape twice. So the first shape is like this. Low open E, hammer on with the 3rd fret, your 1st finger, then to the 5th with your 2nd finger, and then to the 7th with your pinky, then let go of your pinky, you're going to pull off, then pull off again, then pull off again to 0. So, and do that twice. And then once you get back to the open string, the second time we're going to move to the next shape. So we're going to move to our 1st finger to the 5th fret, then our 2nd finger on the 7th fret. Now pinky's got to stretch then to the 10th fret, and then hammer that all on, and then pull it off like we did before to the 0. And then once again, when you get to the open string, we're then going to move up to the next shape, which is on the 7th fret. Now this is the trickiest of them all at first, but once you get used to it, you'll be fine. So your first finger on the 7th fret, then the big interval gap to the 10th fret with your 3rd finger. So it's the first time we're using our 3rd finger, then your pinky on the 12th. And every time you start that first note, it's kind of hammer on from nowhere. So from the top, and then with the next open string, we're going to do the last shape, which is the 10th, first finger 10th fret, 2nd finger 12th, and then our pinky is on the 15th. But on the last note, instead of an open E, just land on the 12th fret, so the octave. It's probably a really cool riff. You're welcome. Credit me in that and maybe I'll get some royalties. Now that's a great start of how to get going with your legato with these pentatonic shapes. So the next step would be to apply this kind of theory onto your A string. Now the great thing about E minor pentatonic is all of your open strings are actually part of the intervals. So you've got your roots, perfect 4th, flat 7, flat 3, flat 5, and then root again. So you can apply that same kind of shape using the open string with this. But what I would do is, just to get used to always finding your root note, I'm going to start on the 7th fret of the A string because that's your root. And I'm going to work out all my pentatonic shapes on this. So we know the formula, root, minor 3rd, or you can look at the shape on screen now. And then a 4th is on the 12th fret. So whenever you've got a 3 fret gap like this, you're going to use your 3rd finger to hammer on. Then your pinky for the 12th fret. So we could use an open A. That could be some really cool riffs actually, if you work out all of your notes on a particular string and then use all open strings to do a lick. Anyway, I'm going off on one. So your first lick would sound like this. Then you want to move up to the 3rd and work out where your next note is. So we're going to have a 3rd, 4th, and then 5th. And then to move up again, our next shape would be 12, 14, 15, which makes sense. So you got your 4th, 5th, and 7th. And then moving up to your 5th. Oh. See, I'm even trying to put my 2nd finger there because the frets are smaller, but you've got to be strict to your fingering. So all together. Well, something like that. So that's how you basically can write your legato licks. Now, you can just take small sections. Let's say with our favorite shape, the first shape up here, you can take the next shape, shape number 2, which is actually your relative major, and do some legato of these two. So you can really experiment with your pentatonics. You don't have to just use your 3-note per string stuff. Get used to these stretches, have a lot of fun, and yeah, let me know how you guys get on. Now, if you want the tabs for that lick at the beginning, I'll play it for you now super slow. Then you can get that in description. Just put your email in and I'll send that over to you. So super slow, the lick sounds like this. Have a lot of fun with that, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on that bell. I really appreciate support. If you guys leave a comment, it really helps with this algorithm. Who knows of YouTube anymore? I'm enjoying making these videos for you guys anyway, so I'll see you again for another one very soon. Take care, guys.
Oh, I feel it now. I can't make you smile.